What's going on? Is he using a talent that conceals his identity? I cautiously initiated the appraisal spell, but couldn't see any information. Name. Information not visible. Ability. Information not visible. The old man's eyes seemed to see through me as he cheerfully said, "Stop trying to identify. I have an ability that blocks identification. Even if you try a million times, you won't be able to identify anything." Hearing this, I immediately confirmed the old man's identity. His voice, I had heard it before through the whisperer. It was indeed the leader of the purge squad, Sidhu Shirbai. "Old man, do you need something from me?" Although Sidhu Shirbai appeared calm, his aura was chilling. He smiled slightly and said, "Join me for a bit. Let me see your potential." Hearing this, I immediately pulled out my dagger and charged at him. But just as my attack was about to hit, the air in front of me seemed to crack like a mirror. The next second, Sidhu Shirbai's figure vanished from the spot. Spatial rift? No, it's a teleportation ability. He teleported behind me. Realizing this, I quickly swung my fist behind me. Before my attack could reach him, Sidhu Shirbai blocked it with one hand. He said with a smile, "You need to improve your speed." "Is that so?" I replied, while secretly gathering a ball of fire in my right hand behind my back. Taking him by surprise, I grabbed his arm. I thought the intense flame would ignite his body starting from his arm, but to my surprise, Sidhu Shirbai's body turned into an ethereal state. "You've been attacking for a while now. It's my turn," said Sidhu Shirbai as his ethereal double gradually faded, and I saw his real body launching an attack at the same time. With a bang, several ice bolts, just like those used by Sishan, shot towards me. I immediately ordered my body to dodge left and right continuously. How many skills does he have? He's like a monster. With my current speed, it's impossible to dodge them all. Out of necessity, I used my ultimate skill, Body of Nether Mist. First, I used 5 points of Nether Mist to transform into a shield to block the ice bolts. After the ice bolts stopped, I spent more Nether Mist to launch a ranged slash, and at the same time, I increased my speed to the maximum, flashing to Sidhu Shirbai's side. Sidhu Shirbai smiled slightly and said, "You're a bit clever, but unfortunately, your strength is still not enough." After that, he released a powerful psychic force from his body. Before I could get close, I was blown away by this force. At that moment, I felt as though hundreds of pounds were pressing on me, completely immobilizing me. However, it's rare for someone at your level to have this kind of strength. "Talk with me." After saying this, he withdrew the psychic force from my body. I remained silent for a moment, then cautiously approached and asked, "May I know how to address you?" This question was a probe to see if he knew that I had used my ability, Whisper, to listen in on the secrets of the Purge Squad. Sidhu Shirbai casually waved his hand. "Aren't you already aware of my name? You can call me whatever." It seems the Purge Squad has thoroughly investigated all my information. However, I wonder what Sidhu Shirbai aims to achieve by meeting me in this manner. Before I could continue thinking, Sidhu Shirbai sipped his tea and said with a faint smile, "Zhang Ping, it's best not to think too much before you can block others from reading your mind. It's been 200 years since an unlimited level ability user appeared in Pearl City after me. How could I not come and see?" Hearing this, I was so surprised that my jaw dropped. "You mean I'm at the unlimited level? What is unlimited level? Isn't the highest level and talent for humans the top level?" Sidhu Shirbai laughed and explained, "An unlimited level can remove the upper limit on the number of talents and continuously awaken new talents. I am very curious about one thing, that is, whether my unlimited level ability path of others can copy your unlimited level ability contract gem. I won't experiment for nothing. No matter the result, I will give you a gift and answer all your questions." After listening, I asked calmly yet cautiously, "Can I refuse?" Sidhu Shirbai nodded and smiled. "Of course, you can, but you might want to see my offer first. This bracelet, called Golden Treasury, was a piece of equipment I often used in my early years. It stores a skill. You should understand what this means." Seeing this, my eyes lit up. "Mr. Sidhu, you are too generous. Storage space is exactly what I need." Sidhu Shirbai nodded and motioned for me to stretch out my hand. I didn't refuse and placed my hand above his. After a moment, he let go of me and sighed deeply. "It's over. I can't copy your ability, not even those derived abilities. It seems your ability is very special. All abilities could potentially become limitless. It's yours now." Saying that, he handed the bracelet to me. I thanked him profusely and immediately initiated an identification. Identification successful. In the playback, a woman is seen tied up, and gold is cast onto her body. Several awakened stand around her, activating their powers simultaneously, gradually causing the woman's body to start burning, along with the gold turning into smoke. After a large amount of smoke dissipates, only a bracelet remains. After watching, I felt uneasy. Such methods are indeed too cruel. After calming myself for a moment, I turned to Sidhu Shirbai and couldn't help but ask, "Mr. Sidhu, is the process of making special equipment always this cruel?" Sidhu Shirbai explained, "That was common practice around 200 years ago. Afterward, through hundreds of reforms and governance efforts, such methods of sacrificing humans to create artifacts were gradually banned, now only applied to death row prisoners." 200 years ago? I suddenly realized that the school curriculum indeed mentioned very little about that period. "Mr. Sidhu, what was Pearl City like 200 years ago? Was it common to treat human life so cheaply?" Sidhu Shirbai glanced at the bracelet on my wrist and replied, "Yes, 200 years ago, Pearl City wasn't called Pearl Pearl City. It was known as Zhu City. It was ruled by a family, the beast-taming Zhu clan. Under their rule, everyone in Zhu City was a slave to the Zhu clan. Everyone saw no future, no hope. Men worked day and night only to receive a meager amount of food. Any woman with slight beauty was chosen to be a slave for the Zhu clan, becoming playthings for their profligate sons. All children were managed collectively, being indoctrinated day and night with loyalty to the Zhu clan. The elderly who couldn't work were used as feed for mutated beasts. Back then, once someone became an awakener, they were either controlled as slaves or used as materials to create artifacts. This is why some people of ambition silently gathered strength and eventually united to overthrow the Zhu clan's rule. After hearing this, I could imagine the situation at the time. Perhaps awakened back then were even worse off. So that's it. Situ Shirbai sighed softly. Do you have any other questions? Mr. Situ, with your capabilities, why don't you act to take down Princess Luoxiu and liberate this city again? Situ Shirbai shook his head in response to my question. It's not that I don't act, but rather that I cannot. You might think that Pearl City's defenses are weak, unaware of the natural order Fox invasion, but that's incorrect. In fact, Pearl City's defense system is quite perfect. Not only does the external investigation team scout and drive away newly emerging mutated beasts, but the Purge Squad also regularly clears out threatening mutated beasts outside the city. Moreover, the city is also protected by the King's divine artifact, Sun and Moon Bright Pearl, which suppresses all foreign races. Within the range of the Sun and Moon Pearl, all creatures are downgraded to under level 40. That is, even if a king-level mutated beast invades, it will be downgraded to top level, and I without a doubt am the strongest among the top level. But now, I started realizing something and quickly asked, Situ Shibai, do you mean there's a traitor in the city? Situ Shirbai nodded slightly. Since the overthrow of the Zhu clan, aside from the city lord and me, only the remnants of the beast-taming Zhu clan know how to control the artifact. Hearing this, I clenched my fists. Images of what I had seen flashed through my mind. The skinned and bloodied Su Jingyao, Princess Luoxiu tearing apart a girl, natural order Fox devouring limbs. Did the Zhu clan of the beast-taming family turn off the Sun and Moon Bright Pearl and then let the natural order Fox in? Is the recent gathering and riot of mutated beasts also related to them? Why weren't these scumbags completely killed off back then? Situ Shirbai replied with a wry smile. The Zhu clan had been operating in Pearl City for hundreds of years and has an unfathomable foundation. Moreover, right after the Zhu clan's rule was overthrown, order in Pearl City was chaotic, and many people who had been brainwashed from childhood still harbored immense hatred towards us. In such a situation, there wasn't much we could do. This invasion by the natural order Fox has too many suspicious points. Why didn't the Sun and Moon Bright Pearl activate? Is the city lord dead or alive? What are the intentions of the Zhu clan of the beast-taming family? What capabilities does the king of the natural order Fox clan have? We need answers to these questions before I can make a move. Otherwise, falling into the enemy's trap, if I die in battle, Pearl City truly will have no hope. After calming down, having thought it through, I realized the importance of Situ Shirbai's position. At this moment, he indeed could not afford to act recklessly. Even if Princess Luoxiu continues to provoke and kill people, anyone might act rashly, but Situ Shirbai cannot. At that moment, Situ Shirbai turned to me and said, although I can't replicate your ability, we need you. Young Zhang Ping, would you like to join the Purge Squad? Upon hearing this, I firmly and without hesitation replied, I would. Meanwhile, inside the Iron Soul blacksmith shop, Wang Jiamin asked with a worried face, it's been several days now. I wonder when Zhang Ping will return. Cho Kong jokingly responded after hearing this. What, missing him? No wonder you've been distracted these past few days. Wang Jiamin's face turned red, and she quickly turned her head away. Not at all. It's just that these past few days no one has been here to guide my training, so I'm just... Also, I don't know how he's doing outside the city, whether he might encounter any danger. Cho Kong, grinning mischievously, leaned in and teased further. Look at you, acting like a little wife, still saying you don't think about him every day. Wang Jiamin, blushing even more, hurriedly explained, I do not. Alright, I'll stop teasing you, Cho Kong said, picking up a weapon she had just finished forging to start cooling it. Actually, the villages outside the city and areas frequented by dangerous mutated beasts have all been marked. As long as Zhang Ping doesn't wander into those places, he should be mostly safe. Wang Jiamin, curious, responded, this is the first time I've heard that there are villages outside Pearl City. Cho Kong laughed. Of course, there are. Those villages are often isolated, backward, and xenophobic, with many even worshipping mutated beasts as deities. If you ever find yourself walking in the wild and come across a village or are in lawless areas, it's best to steer clear. Otherwise, if they capture you, you're likely to become a slave or a sacrifice. Wang Jiamin incredulously asked, aren't they all humans? Shouldn't we be able to communicate? Cho Kong shook her head, reminding her they can hardly be called human. In the wild, the most dangerous thing is not the mutated beasts, but these savages. Some of them like to wear strange masks and appear silently behind you. Just as she said this, Wang Jiamin suddenly spotted a terrifying shadow drifting in from outside the door. Cho Kong, look quick. Is it like what you described? Cho Kong turned around in confusion and indeed saw a menacing black shadow rushing towards them. Seeing their panicked expressions. I, disguised as the shadow, couldn't help but feel thrilled. Unexpectedly, once Cho Kong realized what was happening, she landed a devastating kick to my groin. The next second, a crack sounded, as if the entire world had lost its color. Sweating profusely, I tried to stay calm and lamented in a mournful tone. Cho Kong, wasn't that a bit too harsh? Because I hadn't removed my disguise, she didn't recognize it was me. On guard, Cho Kong demanded. Who are you? I laughed and dispelled the black mist enveloping me, explaining, it's me, Zhang Ping. Upon realizing this, the two were speechless. You little rascal, not even a word when you get back, scaring us like that. Anticipating more scolding, I quickly said, I just got here and overheard you talking about savage villagers, so I thought I'd add to the atmosphere. I didn't expect to be greeted with a kick the moment you turned around. Upon learning that I wouldn't be leaving the city again soon, Cho Kong picked up her jacket and stepped outside. Perfect timing. I just found a clue about Shan Shan and was planning to leave the city myself. Please take care of Uncle Lu. Someone here has been daydreaming about you every day. I'll leave you to it then. Hearing this, Wang Jiamin blushed again, covering her face as she hurried to the door. It's getting late. I should also go back to my room to rest. By the way, Zhang Ping, it's really good that you're back. After saying this, she left without looking back. Watching her retreating figure, a warm feeling rose in my heart. For the first time in a long while, I felt like I was coming home. Just then, Uncle Lu's voice suddenly reached my ears. Everyone's gone to their rooms, and you're still standing here grinning like a fool? Go find Cho Kong first thing tomorrow. Tell her I've fallen seriously ill, and ask her not to leave the city. I quickly asked, Uncle Lu, what's wrong with you? Is it serious? He tapped my head and explained, there's nothing wrong with me. Shan Shan has been missing for so long. She's probably met with misfortune by now. Cho Kong has been taking care of me all this time. She wants to investigate Shan Shan's whereabouts, but I don't want her to take any more risks. I worry she might end up in danger too. That's why I'm pretending to be sick and foolish, to keep her from having time to embark on another risky adventure. Cho Kong is deeply loyal. Once she has someone on her mind, she thinks things through more and won't easily venture into danger. Understanding Uncle Lu's intentions, I acknowledged, you've really been through a lot. Uncle Lu clacked his tobacco pipe, then began to say, you have a talent for forging, but Cho Kong isn't very good at teaching, and she isn't very devoted to forging, so there are many gaps. In the next few days, I will teach you the real kneading forging technique. My skill isn't a secret, but it is unique to the Lu family, so you must learn it well. Hearing this, my face brightened, and I nodded firmly. I will definitely live up to Uncle Lu's expectations. Time quickly reached late at night. As I slept, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. Zhang Ping, keep going, I'm waiting. Surprised by the voice, I suddenly sat up in bed. I recognized the voice. It was Su Jingyao, who was already dead. As Uncle Lu wished, Cho Kong did not leave the city, and Uncle secretly taught me the real kneading forging technique. I applied this technique to the nether mist, allowing the mist to take on more precise forms, strengthening it in a sense. Wang Jiamin successfully mastered the Ape King style from the first 3 styles. That night, I was certain I heard Su Jingyao's voice. The feeling was familiar, so I immediately sought confirmation from the Purge squad. Captain, is there a natural order fox disguised near the blacksmith district? I heard it very clearly just now. Soon, Situ Shirbai replied, the area where you are currently active has already been cleared. There shouldn't be any natural order foxes. If it wasn't the Wind Whisperer hearing this, then what was that voice? What could it be? I considered another possibility. Perhaps Su Jingyao hadn't died, but was living in some other way. To seek revenge and find answers, I would personally tear off the natural order fox's mask. Time quickly moved to 3 days later. Under a January night, outside a certain house, a man quietly sneaked into the Su family's estate. He licked his lips, displaying a lecherous smile, sleeping so soundly. The drug I administered today must have worked. I've long heard that Miss Su is voluptuously beautiful, and tonight I'll have a taste first to see if she's as juicy as everyone says. He closed his eyes, sniffing the air excitedly. I've captured Miss Su's scent. Indeed very fragrant, very juicy. However, just as he was about to proceed, my voice suddenly reached his ears. Zheng Xiaofan, nicknamed Short Stack Teddy Bear, height 5 feet, sleazy and despicable appearance, disliked by women, gradually becoming twisted and perverted, has harassed hundreds of women over the past decade, committing murder to cover his tracks 65 times. Am I wrong? Hidden in the nethermist, I looked down on the disgusting rapist before me. Zheng Xiaofan instantly broke out in a cold sweat, frantically asking who I was. I sneered, sent to collect your life. In fact, I had heard Zheng Xiaofan's monologue while scouting the Su family this morning through the Wind Whisperer, so I had noted this incident. I came specifically to cut off this man's claws. At this moment, Zheng Xiaofan only felt a chill shooting up to his forehead, and he started running out. But just as he made it to the courtyard, a spike I had transformed from nether mist pierced through his calf. Turning his head, he could only see rolling black mist approaching him. Panicked, his pants gradually became wet, and then he fell to the ground, fainting from fear. Seeing this, I was somewhat speechless, thinking that a serial killer would be tough, but he fainted so quickly. I then took off the mask from his face and started checking his information. Ding! Identification successful. Zheng Xiaofan, level 13, abilities, pharmaceutical mastery, able to analyze and identify whether items have have medicinal properties and can utilize them to concoct drugs. Love mask. The mask Zheng Xiaofan wore while committing crimes. Such a great ability wasted on evil deeds. What a waste. I cursed, and then, using the mask, I viewed the playback of scenes that enraged me. I saw a weak mother lying on the ground, crying and begging Zheng Xiaofan to spare her daughter. What a waste. Zheng Xiaofan kicked her. Even after taking my drugs, you're still not behaving. Blame your husband. If he hadn't died early, I wouldn't have targeted you and your daughter. A city guard member, always talking about swearing to protect Pearl City. Now he's really dead. What a joke. He then sneered again, but I should thank him for leaving you two to me. Saying that, he grabbed the girl next to him and began to assault her. Don't worry, after I'm done, I'll send you to see him. You are all my toys. This was just one of the tragic scenes. There were countless girls harmed by Zheng Xiaofan. While I was viewing the playback, he pretended to be unconscious and suddenly grabbed a handful of powdered drugs, throwing them at me while boasting triumphantly. This drug is enough to knock out a large mutated beast. Once you're asleep, I'll enjoy torturing you. After hearing this, I snorted coldly in anger and crushed the mask in my hand. Thanks to the protective nether mist, the drugs had no effect on me. I waved my hand lightly, and the next second, a slicing attack appeared on his chest. You really deserve to die. However, I won't let you die so easily. One slash for that mother who gave her life to protect her daughter. One slash for that girl who chose death over submission. One slash to honor that hero of the patrol team. One slash in memory of that just detective. One slash to commemorate that nameless awakener. Slash after slash. Zheng Xiaofan's height shrank from 1.5 meters to less than 1 meter. The ground covered with the blood and remains of his crawling. He no longer had the strength to run and lay on the ground waiting for death. But the slash of death did not fall. Standing beside Zheng Xiaofan, my hollow voice slowly rose. I will not kill you. There are many medicines in this world, and your injuries might not be untreatable. I give you a chance. If you can make it out the main door, I will spare your life. I did not want him to die too easily. He did not deserve such an easy death. Zheng Xiaofan, the despair you brought to these people, I will return to you manifold. This is your last chance, I said, pointing to the nearby main door. Indeed, the glimmer of hope reappeared in Zheng Xiaofan's eyes. He did not want to die yet, with many young and beautiful women still waiting for his touch. How could he die here? Once I heal, I will make you pay. I will flay and dismember you. Grunting with pain, he continued crawling forward. Indeed, this time I did not strike him again. He could make it. He could survive. Driven by a strong will to live, he slowly crawled toward the door. The short distance seemed so long, it felt like a century had passed. Gradually, he reached the door. When he reached out with his blood-soaked hands to push it open, he found a latch on the door about a meter off the ground. The problem was his legs were nearly severed, and he couldn't reach the latch. He pounded on the door in vain, unable to move it. At this point, I came up behind him, chuckling coldly. Can't you open this door? I gave you a chance, and you squandered it. Zheng Xiaofan, you have failed. Thus, I decree, your time has come. With that, I no longer held back, directly manifesting a blade that pierced his chest. After dealing with him, I prepared to leave with mixed emotions. But just then, I suddenly heard a hoarse voice through the power of the wind whisper. Are you sure? At Hanhai Academy, today is a special day. Find an opportunity. Take her away. After hearing this conversation, I immediately reported the situation to Sidu Shirbai. There's something happening at Hanhai Academy. It seems someone is planning to forcefully take something. After pondering for a moment, Sidu Shirbai instructed, Zhang Ping, you go first and keep reporting the situation. I will contact Lu Sishen immediately. Don't act rashly before reinforcements arrive. I acknowledged and immediately set off. Soon after, I arrived at Hanhai Academy, where several mysterious figures cloaked in capes quietly entered the academy. The leading man frowned angrily and said, Damn, we've been searching for 15 minutes. Where the hell did Chen Shuling hide that woman? Hurry up, we don't have much time. We need to find her no matter what. At this moment, I was outside Hanhai Academy. I saw a stone column in the courtyard with a dragon sculpture perched on it, covered in strange red runes. I immediately attempted to identify the stone column, succeeding only after numerous attempts. Dragon subduing stone, East, quality, epic. For dragon subduing stones, when placed at their corresponding positions, can form the dragon subduing battle-breaking barrier, concealing its users while disrupting and nullifying most barriers. The next moment, I saw the manufacturing scene of the dragon subduing stone, a turning millstone, screaming awaken, drops of blood falling one by one, flowing into it through a funnel-shaped special device. The blood eventually turned into a black liquid, which merged into the dragon subduing stone. The black dragon perched on the stone gradually lit up its eyes, turning a blood red. Seeing this scene, my face turned grim. Indeed, the manufacturing process for most special equipment is incredibly evil and inhumane. The three people inside the house were clearly not from the three major organizations. Could they be remnants of the Zhu clan? After identifying the dragon subduing stone, sudden noises came from inside the house. I quickly hid on the side, only to see three black-clothed figures stealthily climbing out of the window, carrying a fainting young girl, preparing to retreat. Quickly collect the dragon subduing stones. Leave no traces, commanded the leader, and the others immediately started to act. I took the opportunity to identify them and reported the situation to Sidu Shirbai, confirming the enemy
enemies were from the Zhu clan forces, one level 20 with analyzing ability, one level 17 with telekinetic, and another level 15 with hypnotic abilities. The fainted girl being carried away was named Chenjunting, level 13, potential of 12 stars, abilities, Saint's Blood. Her blood can enhance affinity towards all living beings and turn them into fervent followers. After leveling up, it can even become a passive skill and expand its range of use. However, it should be noted that those who consume the holy blood will no longer be able to use their abilities and will encounter continuous misfortunes. After seeing the girl's information, I couldn't help but gasp. What an absurd growth value, and her ability is practically an advanced version of the contract gem. Is the Zhu clan planning to use her to control someone? After the three mysterious figures collected the dragon subduing stone, I was alert, determined not to let the Zhu clan succeed. Regardless, they leaped up and disappeared on the spot. Sensing that they were heading towards the outskirts of the city, Manny from the Purge squad base relayed information through her ability. Time was of the essence, and there was no time to wait for Lu Sishen to join up. I decided to pursue alone, first using the nether mist to stall them. 10 minutes later, the three had reached the forest outside the city. I took a shortcut and caught up with them, disguising myself as an altered beast using the nether mist. Thanks to the dough-kneading forging technique, the disguise was very realistic, but I had to be careful not to be detected by the level 20 identifier. At this moment, the three blocked figures were clearly very surprised. The leading man immediately tried to identify my level, but as he made a move, I interrupted him with a ranged attack. I controlled the nether mist, leaped behind him, and bit down on his back. The man reacted quickly, dodging while urgently telling his companion to use hypnosis. The heavy-set one immediately began to act, waving his arms and emitting a purple aura. His pupils suddenly contracted, staring intently at me. But as an altered beast myself, I'm immune to any psychic controls, so his hypnosis had no effect on me. However, this presented a good opportunity. I decided to pretend to be controlled, to close the distance. Don't move. Then I took the chance to attack. The heavy-set one was taken aback by this and tried to dodge, but it was too late. The distance was too close. The heavy-set man had no chance to dodge and could only watch as he died by my mouth. The man carrying the girl was a psychic. Angrily, he used his power to slam me aside. I struggled to get up and quickly put some distance between us. Although I had successfully dealt with one enemy, all I had to do was stall them now. While I was contemplating, the man used a psychic gravity surge. The next second, a tremendous force as heavy as a mountain pressed down on me, and under this force, I couldn't move at all. The leader quickly scanned my information. Name, Zhang Ping, level 9, low-level awakener, faction, Iron Soul Blacksmith Shop and Purge Squad, ability, unknown. After reading the information, he sneered. It turns out to be a human, and just a level 9 rookie at that. Since you're one of Sidhu Shirbai's people, I can't let you live. At that moment, the leader pulled out a bow and arrow, ready to finish me off. I wouldn't just sit there waiting to be killed. My brain worked rapidly, thinking of a countermeasure. Although my body was completely suppressed by the gravity, thankfully, it did not affect the activation of the nether mist. I immediately consumed some of the nether mist, shooting it off my body like a blade, all of it targeting the two enemies. Simultaneously, I quietly released some nether mist into the ground. Still trying to struggle, the man scoffed, easily knocking down the incoming nether mist. However, he didn't notice that several clumps of nether mist had quietly emerged from the ground. Under my control, the nether mist quickly entwined around the arms of the two men. As I expected, the moment their arms were entangled, the psychic gravity pressing on me instantly failed. I seized the opportunity to rush forward, aiming to deliver a fatal blow to Huang Er. With his arms bound, Huang Er saw no way to dodge and used his psychic power to forcefully break free from the restraints. He then grabbed my arm and sneered, "If this is your trump card, then you might as well die. Such an attack can't possibly harm me." Before he could finish speaking, a surge of intense heat burst from my body. Huang Er was shocked, quickly releasing me and attempting to extinguish the flames that had caught onto him. However, their clothes had fire-resistant properties, so my Fire Devourer ability didn't have much effect. At this point, Zhu Zijuan and Huang Er apparently didn't want to waste any more time. They pulled out their weapons, preparing to kill me outright. Huang Er scoffed, "You've got quite a few tricks, but this is where it ends." I was not intimidated, chuckling in response. "The timing is just about right." Zhu Zijuan sneered in response, "You mean the time to die? The time to hold you up?" As soon as my words fell, a column of water suddenly surged from above. Before the two could react, it pierced through Huang Er's chest. Zhu Zijuan, thinking this was my doing, immediately dropped his bow and arrow. As the arrows were about to hit me, I swiftly commanded a dodge. Although I narrowly avoided them, my shoulder was still pierced. At this moment, Lu Sishan had already killed Huang Er with a single stroke and raised her sword to attack Zhu Zijuan. Zhu Zijuan retreated rapidly, dodging continuously and cursing through gritted teeth. "Damn it, this woman is too strong. She's not someone I can handle. I'll have to use that move." Knowing he couldn't win, Zhu Zijuan forcefully smashed the ring on his index finger. In the next second, a thunderous roar sounded. A brilliant bolt of lightning struck from the sky, causing the ground around him to shake violently. Zhu Zijuan was at the center of the lightning, and the ground nearby sank into a large pit, filling the air with a strong smell of ozone. When
when the smoke cleared, Zhu Zijuan had completely escaped the scene. Lu Sishen, seeing this, sighed in resignation. It's a pity we couldn't capture a remnant of the Zhu clan alive, but at least Zhang Ping is safe. Just then, an urgent voice came through the communication device. Sishen, bring Zhang Ping back quickly. The celestial curtain has been cracked. At the same time, on the roof of the city lord's mansion, the sound of the lightning was also heard by the Natural Order Fox's Princess Luo Xiu. Even with the light screen blocking, it could still feel the fluctuations of that lightning. What was that noise? Asked Princess Luo Xiu. The deputy city lord, Wang Ziming, heard this and, although panicked, managed to keep a calm facade. That was myriad thundering call. Could it be that Zhu Zijuan ran into trouble? He thought to himself. Unfortunately, that noise had just caught Princess Luo Xiu's attention. Wang Ziming paused for a moment and then explained, it might just be thunder. Princess Luo Xiu gave him a cold look and questioned, have you noticed anything unusual? Wang Ziming's forehead sweated as he hastily replied, no. Princess Luo Xiu sensed his nervousness and coldly questioned, then why are you so nervous? Wang Ziming collapsed to his knees, hurriedly making an excuse. Your Highness, I have been afraid of thunder since I was a child. Wang Ziming kneeled and explained. Princess Luo Xiu scoffed, useless thing. He then stopped suspecting Wang Ziming and looked toward where the thunder had struck, contemplating. The sound came from not far outside the city. Logically, we should be able to see it. At that time, that person was critically injured, undoubtedly doomed to die, but in the blink of an eye, he vanished without a trace. To escape so boldly from under my nose, it must be a sophisticated illusion. Human illusions can't directly affect our kind, but they can obscure our vision indirectly. Princess Luo Xiu suddenly understood, his expression turning even colder. Perhaps the entire Pearl City is a facade, playing a clever game. Realizing this, its expression grew colder. The next moment, Princess Luo Xiu floated into the air, its tail swiftly lengthening and branching out, spreading like a vast net over the entire city. The tail slowly descended, and red eyes opened on it one by one. Meanwhile, Lu Sishen, who was fighting outside the city, also noticed the scene. There was no time to search for the girl from Hanhai Academy. The celestial curtain was rapidly fading, and they had to evacuate immediately. I pointed the nightingale lantern, and after a moment's thought, she took me and teleported away quickly. Soon after, Princess Luo Xiu, through the eyes on its tail, spotted Zhu Zijuan, who was carrying Chen Junting and trying to escape. It sneered, finally found the rat. It then charged directly toward Zhu Zijuan's location at high speed. Seeing this, Wang Ziming immediately sensed danger. It's over. It has found us. At that moment, in a part of the city, many remnants of the Zhu clan were gathered. As he fled, Zhu Zijuan communicated to them through a psychic message. The Purge Squad still has a mole named Zhang Ping in the city. Our operation tonight was disrupted by him. Huang San and Huang Er are dead, and I had to use myriad thundering call at the last minute. That Zhang Ping survived, but I managed to gather some information on him. Apart from the Purge Squad, he's also affiliated with Iron Soul Blacksmith Shop. Just after conveying this information, a cry of surprise suddenly came from Zhu Zijuan's side. Luo Xiu, what are you doing here? Then a scream followed, and the communication device went silent. What's going on? Answer me. Huang, the man coordinating the operation, urgently called out, but there was no response. Just then, Wang Ziming's figure suddenly appeared at the scene. He shook his head and gave a wry smile. No need to shout anymore. The plan has failed. Zhu Zijuan was killed by the fox. Hearing this, everyone was extremely furious. Are all our years of effort wasted then? Without the Saintess, how can we control those foxes? Wang Ziming paused for a moment and replied, the Saintess is still alive. She's the nemesis of the Natural Order Foxes. Princess Luo Xiu, discovering he can't kill her, will surely bring her back to the city lord's mansion. The mansion has a secret passage that leads directly outside the city, and currently, only I know about it. You guys send the mutated beasts through the secret passage into the city lord's mansion to cause trouble for the foxes, and I'll take the opportunity to rescue the Saintess. Hearing this, one of the men retorted, that sounds easy, but with Princess Luo Xiu guarding the city lord's mansion, what can we do with just these few mutated beasts? Wang Ziming chuckled and said, that's why we need to make use of Zhang Ping, the Purge Squad's mole. Now that Princess Luo Xiu is monitoring the whole city, any anomaly will provoke his personal action. We just need to send elites to attack the ironworks where Zhang Ping is, which will draw both the Purge Squad and Princess Luo Xiu. While they are fighting, we will control the mutated beasts to attack the city lord's mansion and catch them off guard. But doing so will mean completely burning bridges with the Natural Order Fox, someone worriedly said. Wang Ziming declared firmly, that's why we must succeed, not fail. Do not reveal my identity during the operation. After hearing this, everyone nodded in agreement, exclaiming, truly worthy of the Zhu clan lineage. Deputy City Lord, we will continue to play your part. Please take care of the Saintess. Zhu Ziming. Meanwhile, after Lu Sishen rescued me from the remnants of the Zhu clan, she brought me back to the Purge Squad's base. Sidu Shirbai organized a meeting, speculating that the Zhu clan was at odds with the Natural Order Fox, and the girl taken from Hanhai Academy last night might be key in combating the Natural Order Fox. Su Jie then relayed information she had gathered about Hanhai Academy. The Academy's master, Chen Shuling, had only one son, Chen Haowen, who reportedly died 14 years ago. That same year, Chen Shuling suddenly claimed to the public that he had a granddaughter named Chen Junting. According to the investigation, Chen Junting is not from Pearl City's lineage and likely comes from a village outside the city. Her ability seems to be called Saintess Blood. Hearing this, Sidu Shirbai frowned deeply. Outside the city, the Saintess, could it be from the Holy Ancestors village? Simultaneously, at the city lord's mansion, Princess Luo Shiyu had brought Chen Junting there. Since contacting Chen Junting, it had noticed many irregularities. Her ability was strange, and it completely failed to resist this eerie charm. It could not feel any hostility towards Chen Junting, no matter what she did, and it found it difficult to get angry or even stop her from doing anything. As a princess of the natural order fox, I can't be the problem. The problem must be with this human. Who exactly is she? 2 days later, at the Purge Squad's training room, Lu Sishen was training with me. After a fierce fight, I was defeated and tightly bound by her water ropes. However, I also managed to sneak attack with a dagger made of nether mist, breaking through her defenses. Lu Sishen was somewhat surprised. Your nether mist actually managed to break through my defense despite the level difference. It's truly surprising. Perhaps the nether mist mutant beast is a descendant of a king-level mutant beast, inheriting some characteristics, allowing nether mist to inflict damage beyond its level. However, you still lack combat experience. If it were a fight to the death. Are you done now? Lu Sishen's words had just ended when the water ropes wrapping around me suddenly heated up, scalding me and causing me to yell in pain. She looked pleased. Knowing the characteristics of your abilities is important. Think more about it. For example, water can be transformed into ice, hot water, or vapor, all of which can produce unexpected effects during combat. I then chuckled and transformed Nethermist into a spider, creeping up to her. Lu Sishen got frightened and reflexively blasted a column of water at me, soaking me thoroughly, with some of the water even getting into my mouth. Seeing this, Lu Sishen quickly grabbed me, shaking me vigorously. Spit it out. My water element is pure water. It's toxic, but just after shaking me a couple of times, my pants suddenly fell down, and my lower half turned into a pool of water. Feeling something was off, I quickly looked at my hands, and the next moment, they also turned into pure water. Could this be a new ability awakening? As I pondered, I activated an appraisal spell. Identification successful. Summon Beast. Zhang Ping. Level 9. Omnivore. When you consume special items, there is a 10% chance of acquiring the corresponding special constitution. Pure water body. Your body can transform into a pure water body, resisting various physical attacks. I didn't expect to awaken 2 talents this time. This pure water body is pretty straightforward, but what exactly is this omnivore ability? I pondered as my body gradually turned into a puddle of liquid. Lu Sishen asked anxiously if I was okay, to which I replied, I'm fine. I should be able to change back. Just need some time to get used to it. Since the Nethermist form and pure water body have similarities, like the transformation abilities of Nethermist, I should be able to change back by carefully feeling my own body. I tried to adapt, slowly controlling myself to first flatten against the ground, then another next to it. Finally, after half an hour of effort, I completely recovered, transforming from a water person back to human form. Lu Sishen's cheeks flushed. She turned around and said, put on your clothes first. What exactly happened to you just now? As I dressed, I explained, it seems that I accidentally drank the water you made and awakened the pure water body. Hearing this, Lu Sishen's eyes widened. Pure water body. Zhang Ping's growth rate is too fast, especially the pure water body. That's exactly the ability every water element users can only dream of, and he awakened it so effortlessly. Is this what they call an unlimited level awakener? While she was marveling, her communicator suddenly rang. Report. Team leader. Iron Soul has been attacked, requesting reinforcements. After receiving the message, I hurriedly followed Lu Sishen to the Iron Soul blacksmith shop. When we arrived, we saw many bodies lying in disarray inside the shop. Anxiously, I rushed to the backyard to look for survivors. Hearing my voice, Sister Kuang emerged from the corner. At this moment, Sister Kuang's left arm had been severed, and she was extremely weak. Fortunately, Uncle Lu and Wang Jiamin were not severely injured, just unconscious. Sister Kuang's arm had been violently chopped off, and the wound was very severe. Seeing my worried look, she shook her head and reassured, it's okay, missing an arm won't kill me. Lu Sishen directed the team to take them back to the Purge Squad base for treatment. Watching them in this state, a surge of hatred rose within me. The beast-taming Zhu clan. In this Pearl City, those who want my life are mostly them. Lu Sishen nodded. I'll arrange to investigate immediately. No sooner had she spoken than the raspy voice of Natural Order Fox suddenly reached my ears through the Wind Whisperer's ability. The voice was Luo Shiyu's, and it was very clear, as if she were nearby. The energy fluctuation just now came from here. Many of our kind have died nearby before. Could it be related to these 2 people? It is a critical time. We'd rather waste food than miss any threat. The moment the voice ended, Princess Luo Shiyu's tail suddenly descended from the sky, almost striking me and Lu Sishen. After we dodged the attack, Princess Luo Shiyu sneered. Interesting. After swiftly dodging with Lu Sishen, I watched her warily and decisively initiated an appraisal spell, but 3 consecutive attempts failed. Seeing this, Lu Sishen took action, directly unleashing a blizzard, sending countless ice spears sweeping toward Princess Luoxiu. As the ice spears approached, they were blocked by a layer of illusory barrier around Princess Luoxiu. With a casual wave of her hand, a red vortex appeared behind Lu Sishan, and suddenly a tail thrust violently toward her. Fortunately, she reacted in time, blocking the strike with an ice shield, but she couldn't see through Princess Luoxiu's illusions and had to rely on changes in the surrounding cold air to judge her attacks. Princess Luoxiu also noticed this and sneered, "I want to see how you defend this time." After saying this, dozens of tails attacked all at once. Lu Sishan became somewhat flustered, with attacks fluctuating all around her, unsure of which direction to dodge. Seeing this, I quickly warned, "Be careful of the upper left, 379 degrees, 48 degrees, 12 o'clock." With my guidance, Lu Sishan successfully dodged the wave of attacks. Princess Luoxiu's pupils suddenly constricted, turning her target toward me. Indeed, he can dodge every attack accurately. It seems Zhang Ping is the one who can recognize our clan's disguises. I should have killed you from the start. Let's see how long you can dodge. Princess Luoxiu launched an attack at both me and Lu Sishan. Unable to dodge and guide Lu Sishan at the same time, I could only use the nether mist to tightly protect both of us. "Luoxiu, you seems a bit fiery. Did you get dumped recently?" I taunted. My words enraged Princess Luoxiu, who immediately took it seriously and controlled the remaining tails to swiftly converge on us. Tails fell like rain, furiously attacking me. "So many probes and you've slipped through them all, but this time you won't escape." Princess Luoxiu roared as tails continuously attacked, pushing me to the limit. "What about the 3000? I grimly mused to myself. The frequency of Princess Luoxiu's attacks was overwhelming, with at least 50 hits per second, each extremely powerful. In just 0.9 seconds, only 5% of my nether mist reserves remained. If this continued, once I ran out, Princess Luoxiu would kill me instantly, and even my water body wouldn't be able to save me. As I watched the nether mist reserves diminish, I felt utterly helpless. Was I really going to fall here? Just as despair took hold, suddenly Siddhu Bai's voice rang in my ear. "Zhang Ping, lad, seize the moment. I can only create this opportunity once." As he spoke, 500 meters away, a beam of light shot from the sky, striking Princess Luoxiu and binding her in place. Her tails, now uncontrolled, limply fell to the side. Seizing the chance, I immediately released all the remaining nether mist to obscure our view and swiftly fled the scene with Lu Sishan. Princess Luoxiu, furious, trying to run, she revealed her true form, breaking free from the bindings, but by the time she scanned her surroundings, we had already vanished. "To all, listen up. Capture Zhang Ping at all costs," commanded Princess Luoxiu, prompting the natural order foxes around to start moving. Not long after, Lu Sishan and I finally reached the safe house of the Purge Squad where Cho Kong was receiving treatment. Seeing her, my eyes reddened with guilt. "I'm sorry. It's all because of me." Cho Kong smiled and shook her head. "Blaming yourself. It's just an arm lost, not my life. Besides, I should be thanking you for saving Luuncle and the others. That girl is still waiting for you. Go take care of business." I nodded and stepped outside. Lu Sishan looked at me and reminded, "You can't return to Pearl City for now. Your identity has been exposed. Wait for the captain's arrangements. Here's a reward from the Purge Squad for you." She handed me a bottle of golden liquid. I took it, surprised, and asked, "It couldn't be that golden blood?" Lu Sishan nodded. "Yes, it's Jean Bo's golden blood. He needs to store his blood periodically, which is usually used to treat teammates or extend the lives of meritorious elders. Try drinking it. See if you can acquire this power. Golden blood is a hereditary ability, so there's a chance it could pass to your descendants or skip generations. Be prepared and be wary of being targeted by unscrupulous women." I chuckled and drank the golden blood in one gulp, managing to swallow it despite the discomfort. It's only a chance of inheritance, not guaranteed, and who knows if I'll even have a wife in the future. Why worry about something so far off? Lu Sishan asked expectantly, "How do you feel? Did you get the power?" I shook my head. Doesn't seem like anything's changed, but after a while, I began to feel strange and looked down at my arm, which had turned into blood. I was momentarily stunned, then I used an appraisal spell on myself. Pure blood body. Your body can transform into a pure blood form, which can merge into the target's body to rapidly heal injuries. Moreover, this pure blood body seemed to have additional abilities, such as letting me sense the condition of people around me. Although Lu Sishan was still wearing a mask, through the perspective of the pure blood body, I could see the scars hidden on her face, instantly understanding why she always wore a mask. "Sishan, in this state, I can sense the life status of all beings and can merge into someone's body to repair any injury, even scars," I said as I controlled my body. Lu Sishan was silent for a moment, then spoke. "Then try to see if you can heal Cho Qiang's severed arm." I nodded. "As long as there's enough blood, theoretically, even if a person is reduced to just skin, I can fully restore their body. Then go treat Cho Kong." Lu Sishan pushed me towards the infirmary. I didn't refuse and said as I walked, "We'll have a good chat later. Honestly, even though I've known you for so long, I still don't know how you've been these years." Lu Sishan was startled, then nodded slightly, a trace of sadness in her eyes. Meanwhile, outside the city in the woods, the ground suddenly began to shake violently. Looking out, countless mutant beasts were running toward towards Pearl City, their red eyes especially bright in the night. Among these beasts were also many undead zombies. As the undead were heading to Pearl City, Situ Shirbai was searching through records related to Holy Ancestor Village. Manny, curious, asked, "Captain, why are you looking at this?" Situ Shirbai sighed deeply. "I don't know if you remember, although the Zhu clan did many cruel deeds while in power, at the very beginning, the beast-taming Zhu clan was also a heroic family. To resist the Great Winter Calamity, the Zhu clan head, Zhu Qian, merged with the Divine Sun bird, flew to the sky every day, bringing light and warmth to people. He persisted for 10 years until he died from exhaustion." Manny nodded. "I know. After Zhu Qiang died, he was buried in the Sunset Mountains outside Pearl City. Now many villagers and scholars are grateful to him, guarding his tomb, and over hundreds of years, a village gradually formed around it, which is Holy Ancestor Village. Are recent events related to Holy Ancestor Village?" Situ Shirbai continued. "Every 100 years, Holy Ancestor Village produces a saintess, whose bloodline can protect the village from any mutant beast attacks. Chinjunting is very likely the saintess from Holy Ancestor Village, and the Zhu clan probably plans to use the saintess to control the natural order foxes." Manny was puzzled. Why would the saintess appear in Hanhai Academy? And with such events unfolding, how come there's no reaction from Holy Ancestor Village? Situ Shirbai pondered for a moment, not answering immediately. A terrible thought suddenly occurred to me. What if they are doing it on purpose? With the saintess trapped in the city, Holy Ancestor Village could launch a war against Pearl City at any time. 150 years ago, Pearl City had a tyrannical city lord. To avoid repeating the Zhu clan's mistakes, the Purge Squad listed her as the most wanted criminal and, together with the current city lord, successfully expelled her from the city. Somehow she became the leader of Holy Ancestor Village. Perhaps she has never given up on Pearl City, just waiting for the right moment to make a comeback. Meanwhile, in the Purge Squad's outdoor safe house, the Purge Squad has established many hidden safe houses in the wild. Some are built into rocks, others are hidden underground or in trees. At this moment, inside Safe House 003, Lu Sishen felt the ground vibrations caused by the running mutant beasts and wondered, could this be the Zhu clan's doing again? I need to go out and check. But if this place is discovered, the wounded here will be in danger. As she was conflicted, I excitedly shouted while holding a lantern. "It worked?" Lu Sishen asked, puzzled. "What worked? Wasn't that lantern out of energy?" I chuckled. "It was out of energy, but I thought it was a pity to just throw it away, so I tried to see if I could recharge it." "What did you use to recharge it?" "I tried injecting nether mist, flame, pure water, and pure blood before, all unsuccessfully, but now it suddenly worked, and the effect has even been enhanced," I said excitedly. "The ghost lantern's function is to conceal the send information within a certain range around it, which is perfect for covering the safe house so we can go out to investigate safely." After setting up the lantern, Lu Sishen and I headed out to scout. Looking out, we saw a massive horde of mutant beasts and zombies rushing towards Pearl City, about 10,000 or more. These mutant beasts were not high level, mostly forest wolves and bullet rabbits, but the sheer number was overwhelming. When did the Zhu clan control so many mutant beasts? I frowned. Just then, I noticed something odd. Why are these mutant beasts running so desperately? It doesn't look like they are attacking something, more like they are fleeing. "Sishen, look over there." Lu Sishen followed where I was pointing and was stunned, rooted to the spot. Once she recovered, she quickly reported the situation to Situ Shirbai. "Headquarters, this is Lu Sishen. Near Safe House number 3, a large number of undead are heading towards Pearl City, approximately 50,000. Hearing this number, Situ Shirbai was equally shocked. 10,000 mutant beasts, 50,000 zombies, and inside the city are the remaining Zhu clan and natural order foxes. Right now, there is a severe lack of manpower in the city, unable to confront so many enemies at once. Do I need to step in myself? There's another way." He pondered for a moment and then instructed, "Manny, Chenluowei, Su Jia, get ready for the countermeasure plan. Prepare to reactivate the celestial curtain. Yesterday, when I covered for Zhang Ping, I suppressed Princess Luo Xiu, and now its power should not have fully recovered. Although we can rely on the city guard and the investigation team, there are still many strong forces in the city. We can engrave messages on the canopy to alert the whole city about the zombie attack. Once the awakened in the city are assembled, we can blend in, both protecting Pearl City and avoiding the natural order fox's surveillance. Go and act now." After Situ Shirbai arranged tasks for several people, he began other preparations intensively. He continued, "Lu Sishen, Zhang Ping, I command you to block the mutant beasts and zombies outside the city as much as possible. Try to delay some time." After speaking, he contacted Safe House number 5. A young man wearing glasses and carrying a long sword on his back answered the communicator. "This is the branch. Captain, please instruct." Situ Shirbai's voice came through the communicator. "Quickly head to the vicinity of Safe House number 3 to support Lu Sishen." The young man nodded and responded, "Understood." He called his teammates and immediately headed towards the city outskirts. "Let's go. It's our turn to enter the scene." Meanwhile, in the city lord's mansion, Princess Luo Xiu went to the city to look for traces of the Purge Squad. Before leaving, he learned that Chinjunting liked making friends, so he held a dance party for her. Vice City Lord Zhu Ziming intended to take Chinjunting away while Princess Luo Shiyu was absent, but there were too many people at the party, and it was difficult to act. Moreover, the city guard's chief commander, Link D, and his subordinates came, and once they entered the hall, they behaved somewhat mechanically. Suddenly, the people in the hall began to dance like robots, clearly influenced by Saintess Chinjunting. Zhu Ziming tensed up, realizing the Saintess's power only affects mutant beasts, which means Link D and others must have already been replaced and mutated by the natural order fox. This important matter, and that fox didn't tell me. It seems it doesn't fully trust me. Zhu Ziming thought to himself, the situation indicating that there probably were no more living humans in the patrol team, and even everyone present might be transformed by the natural order fox. However, fortunately, they had been inadvertently controlled by Chinjunting, and she herself was not yet aware of this. If I can convince her to work for us, the plan can move directly to the next phase. With that thought, Zhu Ziming quietly approached Chinjunting, his face filled with a smile. Little sister Chinjunting, are you having fun? Chinjunting nodded with a smile. I just wanted to make some new friends. I didn't expect Sister Luo to throw such a big dance party for me. By the way, why hasn't Sister Luo come back yet? Zhu Ziming leaned in closer and grabbed her hand. She might be busy with something. Uncle knows a more fun place. Wanna go together? Chinjunting hurriedly freed herself from his grasp, wearily stating, I haven't had enough fun yet. I clearly don't know you. How do you know my name? The surrounding natural order foxes, sensing Chinjunting's discomfort, stopped their dance and coldly watched Zhu Ziming's every move. Meanwhile, near safe house number 3, Lu Sishen and I also began to take action. I was responsible for using the nether mist to herd the mutant beasts together, preparing to prevent them from charging into Pearl City. Lu Sishen controlled the water flow to freeze these mutant beasts, but there were simply too many of them, wave after wave relentlessly advancing, making it increasingly difficult for us two to hold them back. Fortunately, the fear generated by these mutant beasts had allowed me to accumulate a significant amount. Now I could use the nether mist as I wished. Even if I continuously expended 100 nether mist, the consumed nether mist would replenish itself in moments. The body of nether mist could transform into various animals, even into a giant dragon. Although the situation remained dire, we had resolved that as long as we were not dead, we must do our best to hold off until reinforcements arrived. The defense battle of Pearl City had fully commenced, and Lu Sishen's and my task was to hold back the 50,000 zombies and mutant beasts as much as possible. At this moment, I used the nether mist to transform into a giant dragon, blocking the path of the mutant beasts. Fortunately, these mutant beasts were only focused on fleeing and had no intention to fight. Seeing the dragon, they simply bypassed it and continued to flee. Although Lu Sishen managed to eliminate many mutant beasts with her ice spikes, these creatures were endless, virtually impossible to finish off by just the two of us. Just as I was anxiously contemplating a strategy, suddenly several stones, fireballs, and ice bolts flew towards me, exploding right above my head. What's going on? I looked in the direction of the attack and saw 3 zombies staring at me with a smile. Zombies can use magic? I thought they only knew how to bite. Without further thought, I immediately used appraisal skill on these few zombies. Identification successful. Species, zombie, faction, Holy Ancestor Village, level 6. Holy Ancestor Village, my heart tightened. I need to find a chance to relay this intelligence back to headquarters. At this moment, a large number of zombies swiftly charged at me, clinging on and starting to bite. The nether mist was useless against them because zombies do not feel fear. This way, the nether mist would eventually be exhausted. Realizing the dire situation, I swiftly flapped my wings, knocking the surrounding zombies away and grabbing a few, flying into midair. The remaining zombies, lacking long-range attack capabilities, could only stare helplessly from the ground. The zombies I captured were set aflame by me, and I cheerfully said, "Zombie fireball." With all my strength, I threw these burning zombies towards the densest part of the crowd below, and with a loud explosion, hundreds of zombies were obliterated. At that moment, Lu Sishen was swiftly swinging her ice sword, her graceful movements resembling those of a dancer, continuously maneuvering through the zombie horde. Each swing of her sword felled zombies. With our concerted counterattack, the main force of the first wave of the beast and zombie tide was largely dealt with, totaling over 1,000. The second wave is estimated to arrive in half an hour, I said. Taking the moment to regroup, Lu Sishen reported the situation back to Sidu Shirbai. Curious, I asked, how come these zombies can still use powers? Lu Sishen explained, they were probably awakened beings before they died. I nodded and said, such despicable tactics. Could it be Zhu's family again? Mid-sentence, I suddenly thought of something and fell into thought. I just identified that these zombies belong to Holy Ancestor Village. Hearing my words, Sidu Shirbai nodded in agreement. Although Zhu clan is cruel, taming beasts is a kind of faith to them, and they would disdain using such crooked methods as controlling zombies. Based on our initial judgment, this incident is likely related to Holy Ancestor Village, and your identification further proves this. Hearing the words Holy Ancestor Village, Lu Sishen's face suddenly changed dramatically. Does that mean it was that person causing trouble? From her expression, I could vaguely guess that the scar on her face might be related to that person she mentioned. However, she didn't elaborate further, and it wasn't appropriate for me to ask more. Just then, a Foul, pungent fog slowly drifted over, and Lu Sishen quickly warned me, "Hold your breath, this gas is toxic." I sniffed and detected a sulfur-like smell of hydrogen sulfide. My brain quickly figured out a plan, and I urgently reminded Lu Sishen, "Quickly create a shield to protect yourself." Once she was protected, I immediately activated the Fire Eater ability. The moment the flames touched the toxic gas, the gas ignited like fluff, evaporating instantly. I retracted the flames, and just as everything calmed down, the second wave of the zombie tide arrived. Countless zombies emerged from the fog. Leading them was a large, burly red zombie with a green-robed old man sitting on its head. Seeing this, I immediately attempted to identify the old man, but after dozens of tries, I still couldn't succeed. The old man controlled the zombie, stopping at a distance from us, no longer advancing. He stroked his beard, chuckling, "To have neutralized my zombie poison, these two youngsters seem quite promising." Due to the distance, I couldn't hear his words and continued to use the appraisal spell. However, like my previous attempts to identify Luo Xiu, the identification failed. Is it because my proficiency isn't enough, so I can't identify high-level targets from afar? I thought to myself. With that, I decided to identify all the zombies within sight at once. As soon as I finished speaking, the system rang out with numerous successful identification sounds, and information began appearing above the zombies' heads. Identification successful, 16,888 times. Appraisal spell significantly improved. Upgraded to appraisal spell, advanced. The distance and success rate for identifying targets above level 30 are greatly enhanced. Another identification message came through. Identification successful. Name, Zhuxiangming. Species, zombie, fallen, faction, holy ancestor village. Rank, apex level awakener, level 39. Abilities, zombie toxin. Can generate zombie toxin. Anyone transformed into a zombie by this toxin is under the controller's command. Zombies can use abilities from their previous life, and they share a life pool. If all zombies are not killed, the controller cannot be killed. While I was reviewing Zhuxiangming's information, he waved his hand, summoning a zombie wielding a giant axe, and sneered, "Although I'd love to take action personally, I have more important matters to attend to right now. Bring them back to me, dead or alive." On the other side, I shared the identified information with Lu Sishen. I informed Sister C about the information and asked her what Fallen One meant. Sister C, shocked by the news, explained, "An awakened being's powers slowly evolve according to their usage habits, eventually morphing into the form best suited for them. However, if an awakener's mental strength is not strong enough, they can be devoured by their own power and ultimately become a slave to their abilities, which we call Fallen Ones. Fallen Ones are generally very powerful." As she was explaining, some of the zombies had already approached us, and we re-entered battle. I was responsible for dealing with the lower-level zombie troops, while Sister C faced off against the zombie wielding the giant axe. They were evenly matched, and neither could overcome the other for the time being. During a lull in the fight, Sister C quickly reported to headquarters. "A Fallen One has appeared, riding a giant zombie. I am unable to intercept him alone. This person is leading a large number of zombies towards the north of the city. Level 39, extremely dangerous." I quickly identified the zombie in front of me, level 29. I attempted to control it with Nethermist, but due to the significant difference in strength, it broke free from the Nethermist chains in just a moment. No way, this zombie is not on the same level as those underlings. Sister C and I struggled against this zombie, unable to break free and stop the advancing hordes of zombies and mutated beasts. Soon, their vanguard had arrived at the northern gate of Pearl City. Just as Pearl City was about to fall, fortunately, the warriors who received the message quickly formed a defensive line. The leader of the warriors, named Feng Lysian, head of the Beast King Martial Arts School, shouted to boost morale, addressing his comrades, "Today, no one shall pass. Let's do this together. We must not let these beasts get even half a step closer to the city." As soon as he spoke, his companions sprang into action, engaging the mutated beasts and zombies in fierce battle. Feng Lysian then faced off against a special zombie. He had noticed early on that this zombie moved differently from the others. Feng Lysian said, "Your movements are different from other zombies." However, the zombie did not respond but instead launched an even fiercer attack. After a brief exchange, Feng Lysian recognized its technique. "This is the Ape King style of the Beast King martial arts. Who are you?" "Exactly." The zombie smiled stiffly, suddenly increasing its speed, its hands tearing through the air, attacking Feng Lysian with a howling sound. Feng Lysian quickly dodged the attack, counterattacking with a move called Beast King First, Taoties' cauldron lift style, grabbing the zombie's shoulders, leveraging his feet, and hurling it into the air before slamming it down to the ground. Feng Lysian's awakened talent was the Crimson Emperor's Undying Body Hyper-Regeneration, which not only gave him super-fast regeneration abilities but also increased his healing speed the more severe his injuries. He could also accelerate his heartbeat to activate Crimson Emperor's blood flame, bursting forth terrifying high temperatures and enhancing his physical abilities all around. After defeating the zombie, Feng Lysian noticed a token had fallen from the zombie's body. "This token looks familiar." Curiously, Feng Lysian picked up the token and his pupils shrank instantly. The token and bore the name Lin Bencher. This is Elder Brother's token, someone who uses Beast King martial arts and carries Elder Brother's token. Could it be Lin Bencher, Elder Brother, who disappeared 30 years ago? You went out of the city to investigate the disappearance of Awakened and mysteriously vanished yourself, only to end up as a zombie in such a tragic state. Seeing what had become of his once respected elder brother, Feng Laixian felt an inevitable surge of melancholy. He remembered how, 30 years ago when he first joined the martial arts school, he was looked down upon by his peers due to his mediocre talent, but elder brother Lin Bencher never gave up on him. After every class, elder brother would teach him privately, providing endless help and encouragement. Elder brother once said, "The Ape King style is about variability and unpredictability. Although others don't think highly of you, you are actually improving fast. Let's practice a little longer, and once you've mastered it, you can really show them." With these memories, tears slipped from Feng Laixian's eyes. He clenched his fists, a fire of rage burning in his heart. To disgrace the Beast King martial arts, to disgrace elder brother. No matter who the culprit is, I will find him and avenge you.